StadiumDB.com presents World Cup 2030 Stadiums. Beat Spain, Portugal, Morocco. Hello! The times, they are a-changin'. A whole previous concept has been blown to pieces. We have just prepared materials in which we presented the candidates of Spain, Portugal with Ukraine and Morocco separately to host the World Cup in 2030. But it has been announced that the Iberian countries will be putting forward a joint candidacy with Morocco, unfortunately at the expense of Ukraine, which withdrew. This turn of events has caused a bit of a revision in the stadium issue, so we have prepared an update. With the addition of Morocco, the number of arenas in Spain has been reduced and the stadium landscape has been transformed. So we invite all stadium freaks to an update on one of the bids to host the 2030 World Cup. But before we focus on the point, we would like to ask you to subscribe and click the bell and like buttons. A comment below the video would also be appreciated. Thanks! The change means that the distances between football facilities have been significantly reduced. We start in the Iberian Peninsula and the first country on a list is Portugal, where 3 stadiums await us. Estadio José Alvalade 21, capacity 50,095, Lisbon. The country's picturesque capital has 2 beautiful venues that were built on the occasion of Euro 2004. The first one is used on a daily basis by Sporting's footballers. Portuguese architect Tomás Taveira, known for his exceptionally bright visions, is responsible for the design. In addition to the impressive size of the 2-tier auditorium, the arena has extensive facilities underneath the stands. Estadio da Luz, capacity 64,642, Lisbon. The other stadium from the Portuguese capital hosts none other than Sporting's arch-rival Benfica. The locals call the stadium A Catedra, and it is hard to deny that, as the arena is truly monumental. The 60-seater has hosted the final of the aforementioned European Championships and 2 Champions League finals. Estadio do Dragão, capacity 50,033, Porto. Like the previous 2, this venue was also built on the occasion of the Portuguese Euros, and there is no doubt that all arenas share quite a few features. The Dragons Stadium has the main pitch below ground level, which is flanked by 2-tier stands along the pitch and single-level ones behind the goals, so that from the auditorium we can see the nearby buildings. San Mamés Barria, capacity 53,331, Bilbao. We start in the Basque Country. The stadium here is a real visual marvel. Its most distinctive feature is its facade, made up of thousands of white ribs. Each one is curved so that the panels do not adhere tightly but allow for light and ventilation. Estadio Anoeta, capacity 40,000, San Sebastian. We remain on the Bay of Biscay. The stadium in San Sebastian owes its current appearance to the 2017-19 redevelopment and no longer resembles the old Anoeta at all. The arena's roof and facade are covered with an ETFE membrane. Estadi Cornellà El Prat, capacity 40,000, Barcelona. Time for a visit to Catalonia. Espanyol's stadium opened almost 14 years ago, but it still looks very modern. Its advancement is not only manifested in its appearance, but also in the solutions used there to make the stadium environmentally friendly. Camp Nou, capacity 105,053, Barcelona. By the time of the 2030 World Cup, Blaugrana's stadium will have looked very different compared to present. Modernization work is in progress at Barça venue, which is set to accelerate next season when the club moves to the Olympic Stadium. Plans include the construction of a new third tier of equal height, which will allow Camp Nou to exceed the magic 100,000-seater barrier. The stadium will also gain a roof, and the panoramic screen will be installed underneath. Estadio Metropolitano, capacity 68,456, Madrid. We head to the capital, where two stadiums are in contention for the right to host the World Cup. The first of those is the home of Atletico. The most remarkable part of the stadium and its trademark is the roof. This masterpiece of engineering and architecture combines functionality with design. It is curiously shaped on all sides, creating a rippling impression on the outside, while impressing with its harmony and rhythm on the inside. Estadio Santiago Bernabéu, capacity 80,242, Madrid. The stadium of the more successful club from the capital is currently undergoing a redevelopment that will see it receive a new retractable roof, allowing the venue to be fully enclosed, while the stands will be surrounded by a striking futuristic facade made of stainless steel panels. Under the roof there will be a circular panoramic screen. The modernization should be completed in 2023. Nou Mestalla, capacity 70,000, Valencia. We are heading south along the Mediterranean coast. Valencia's new venue has been in the making for more than 15 years now, but it looks like work has finally picked up. Initially, it will not use the full potential of the stands, offering only 49,000 seats. Estadio La Cartuja, capacity 57,619, Seville. We move to Andalusia. Seville's La Cartuja was built to be the main arena for the 2004 Olympic Games. The huge, one of the largest stadium in Spain, still has no permanent user. It hosted several Euro matches in 2021. Again, we encourage you to like this material and leave a comment. In addition to this, we have noticed that more than 95% of our viewers are not yet subscribing to our channel. It only takes a moment and is free of charge, but it would help us a lot. We appreciate it. Crossing Gibraltar and landing in Africa, where in Morocco another 7 venues are waiting to be discovered. Adrar Stadium, capacity 46,048, Agadir. The city is located on the edge of the mountain range, so the terrain here changes dynamically, and the stadium was designed to resemble the surrounding hills. Earth embankments are covered with the stone steps, blending the stadium into the landscape and giving it an interesting geometry through the stepped facades. The planned redevelopment involves fitting the arena with an interesting roof supported by slender masts. Grand Stade de Marrakech, capacity 69,565, Marrakech. The venue was built about 11 kilometers from the city center, and it must be said that it is extremely distinctive. In the desert landscape, it looks like a fortress, not coincidentally. Its appearance is intended to be reminiscent of fortifications on the one hand and of local architecture on the other. Ahead of the World Cup, the arena is set to undergo a major expansion, which will increase its capacity by almost 25,000 seats. Grand Stade de Casablanca, capacity 93,000, Casablanca. This planned giant would most likely host the opening match and the final. Once completed, the stadium would become one of the largest on the continent. Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium, capacity 46,500, Rabat. Opened in the early 1980s, the stadium in the capital has not undergone any major redevelopment in its history, but was extensively modernized in 2001. Among other things, it received individual seats. The World Cup renovation plan proposes the full roofing of the arena's stands. Fez Stadium, capacity 46,092. Fez. The stadium in Morocco's third largest city was officially opened in 2007, although construction had begun back in 1994 and had taken 9 years. The facility has an athletics track, and its most striking feature are 4 slanted concrete floodlight towers. As part of the upgrade, the stadium is to gain a canopy that will cover most of the stands. Ibn Battuta Stadium, capacity 65,000. Tangier. The stadium was inaugurated in 2011 after 9 years of construction and was already labeled outdated when it opened. The stands are placed a long way from the pitch, surrounded by a running track, and the open arches caused heavy droughts with the offshore wind. Between 2020 and 2023, the sectors on the edges were expanded to equal the height of those along the pitch. The modernization increased the capacity of the stadium up to 20,000, and the additional stands were ready for the Club World Cup to be played in February 2023. Oujda Stadium, capacity 55,000. Oujda. The original plans called for the stadium to have a capacity of 10,000 fewer seats, but now it looks like the concept has changed. The stadium will be one of the greenest in Africa, generating more electricity than it consumes. At the moment, it is not clear what the stadium will ultimately look like. And with that, we have reached the end of our presentation, in which we leaned into Spain, Portugal and Morocco joint bid to host the 2030 World Cup. Make sure to have your say in the comments if you would like the World Cup to be hosted in these countries. Also, click on the bell, because that way you won't miss our next content, which is already in the pipeline. Thanks and see you soon!